I'm thinking about ordering.
Like some pre-workout?
They're pre-workout dips.
Yeah, so I had, I should maybe put this here. Welcome, everybody. I had met a kid this weekend from the States, and he had a tin. And I was like, oh, you're...
Are we rocking? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, you're chewing. He's like, no, it's pre-workout low packs, just like the chew. And they just go to his gum. It's 300 milligrams per little thing, and they just dissolve in your gums. And
It's like caffeine.
yeah, it's all caffeine. It's pre-workout.
But it's like 45 milligrams.
If you want,
If it's 300 milligrams.
Really?
if you're a big pussy and you want to look cool, that's basically what that is.
To be alive if you can't do that.
like, oh,
That's why I was interested.
Yeah. But is that like my? Speaking of stupid things like that, my buddy bought this thing that's like the company's called like Wanna Bump or something like that, but it's snortable caffeine.
Sounds like
So
my
that's
kind of
so
party.
stupid.
It's the dumbest thing I could possibly imagine, but they'll make a fucking $1 million off of it. Like,
Yeah.
he
It's
ordered
dumb
it.
because we didn't think of it.
Yeah, he's like, oh
No, it's dumb because it's dumb.
because it's dumb. It's caffeine, and I know it's on this inositol. Inositol. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We actually looked it up, and because Thrones didn't even know what it was, so that's how you know that. You don't feel bad about not knowing it because Thrones didn't.
Yeah.
Stupid Thrones.
How
humiliating.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing that he didn't know it because I asked him, he didn't know, and I was like, "Whoa!" It's like asking your dad something, and he
He's
didn't.
probably
know
going to
the
write a
answer.
paper on it now.
It was kind of, but it was kind of weird. I was like, "Thrones, what is this?" He was like, "I don't know," and I was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
This must be new.
I didn't even know. Yeah, it's supposed to be a brand new thing that's not been talked
There's
about.
not even a drug test for it if he doesn't know about it.
Welcome to Strong and Petty's 27.
Coming in hot.
Coming hot
Coming
on
in
27.
hot,
Yeah,
yeah.
forget to do
Throwing
the intro
into it.
for a sec. We were just discussing these weird. So it's just chewing tobacco, right? Or is it like?
Yeah.
Is there a special gimmick to it?
No, that's it.
You buy it in Canada?
This stuff I do buy in Canada, but it's not sold legally.
Okay, we'll leave it at that then.
No.
That's the way I like my stuff.
I just know where to get it, and
Right.
and then had to build the relationship with the people who sell it.
10-4.
And
What's
yeah.
special about that one? Why do you like that one?
It still has like a bit of a mint taste
That's
to it.
why-
Oh,
That's why it's not allowed.
Yeah.
That's against the rules now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And switching to the cleaner instead of having like loose tobacco in my mouth, which I did for 20 years. This I can throw in. I've had one in every episode.
Were you never?
Yeah, I know you have, yeah.
You were never like a bandit guy?
Sorry?
Well, bandits, those like the
Well,
pouch ones.
These are basically.
But you said you went from loose tobacco to that. You never fucked with the bandit ones before that, or?
No, I've done bandits. I've done the Siberias that I really like. They're a lot stronger than these, and they're just harder to get.
Anything that's named after
Like in the States?
like Eastern European country like that. I don't want.
You have to like literally order from Sweden,
Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
and then they get caught up in customs, and it takes
Yeah.
like 2 months to get here.
Right.
So I'm working on a plug in the U.S. because they can get them in like 3 days.
Oh,
Right.
shit.
And there's no customs because they
And they just bring 'em
free
over.
trade. Yeah.
I was just actually there on the weekend. I went and bought a Blackstone grill. I don't know if you guys have
Sweden?
seen those things. Yeah,
got a
Sweden.
grill in
Yeah,
Sweden?
yeah.
Nice.
Brought it
Great grills.
through the States.
Great grills.
Yeah, way easier.
Yeah.
No,
What's a Blackstone?
It's like a giant griddle, like a breakfast griddle in a sense. 36-inch griddle. Me and my brother both
I
wanted
saw
one.
your brother posted it.
Yeah, so I bought two of them. Went down and bought them, and then I went back a second day because this diet thing's getting out of hand. So we just went and got some ice cream. Went down to Rose. It was 37 degrees. My quad overheated on our quad run. I didn't clean my rad out after
Right
last.
or left leg?
Yeah, my quad overheated, so I had to go pressure wash the rad out because I didn't do it after my last mud run. And so we shot down to Rosa, down to Rosa, hit up Dairy Queen,
Nice.
and they had Ben and Jerry's five for $15. I know we talk about Ben and Jerry's, but
Can't approve.
yeah, but I ate
Dairy
it.
Queen sells Ben and Jerry's.
No, we hit Dairy Queen, then we hit the store for Ben
Oh,
and Jerry's.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
so
I
you,
hit.
So
and
you
then
just completely deserted this.
Oh,
diet
dude,
then.
I was up 6 pounds as of Monday, and I'm like, oh, back on the train, and I'm back down again. But, yeah.
I was gonna say you might be down more now.
I was, yeah.
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 Yeah, it felt kind of good, but I should have brought you some chew back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do it with some of the guys in the gym. Was when I'd go down there for the States and just buy a log and bring it back for them, and
Oh, you
I'd
can
sell for $10 more to them just because I wanted to get $10 out of the deal at least, and then
Yeah.
they would still save $80 on the fucking
exactly.
thing. So
Yeah.
So what? Wait, there's something I was gonna ask about that. Well, whatever.
What, logs?
Yeah, something about big logs. I forget. Yeah. So we're creeping up on nationals, which is like when I say creeping up, I mean it's kind of the same thing as Deadlift for Dreams, where it's like, man, we have so much time. It's like a year away. It's a year away, and all of a sudden now it's less than 2 months away.
Yeah,
and it's alarming. It's very alarming.
Yeah.
And but I say that just because it's more the
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, it's more the perfectionist that's making me say that rather than like we are prepared, like we're doing what we need to do and everything. We having all of our ducks in a row, especially with the help of Simone and Sam and Max. But it just feels like it's like a lot all of a sudden coming.
Just
down
having
the
it
wire.
hanging over your head.
Yeah,
even if everything is organized, just having it hang over your head.
Because ultimately we have to execute on the day of.
Yeah,
like we can have everything absolutely ready, but we still have to execute.
Yeah,
the day of, right? So, we have these. For anybody who might be interested, we have these great tickets here.
Those are nice looking tickets.
They were actually, I'll tell you about these tickets, is that they were provided to us by one of our great sponsors, Hooters. And I know that, or not everyone, but some people are like, ooh.
Speaking of tickets,
Hooters.
Did you get your tickets, though?
What?
For the gun show?
Oh, fuck you. The smallest guy in the fucking room here. Anyway, I'm so glad you got that one in. Anyway. Okay. But we are one of our great sponsors, Hooters, and people, if you don't like it, fuck you, because Hooters has been great to us, and they provided us with not only the kegs that we're using, between Hooters and Molson, I should say, and they printed us these beautiful tickets, and then on these tickets, if you flip it over on the back here, you get $10 off a Hooters meal if you present your ticket at the restaurant.
It's like two wings.
That's
yeah, exactly. I know that.
And you might even get one flavor.
Yeah, but they're taking really good care of us, and we really appreciate it. Shout out to Kevin Cannon, who's been our plug there, and he's been incredibly helpful with us, and really taking a lot of the load off of nationals for us without even really realizing it. Like
that stuff is
yeah.
And
they advertise for us on their big LED screen outside of the Hooters and stuff, and it says Strong Manitoba on there, and they've been really, really cool to us.
They put our logo up there and everything. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
cool.
we're really thankful for them and for all of the sponsors who've been helping us
and
out.
Molson and
Molson's been coming through with the keg. So when we do the keg over bar, just know that those were once filled with delicious Molson Canadian beer.
Now they're gonna have
not Bud
lead
Lights.
shots and water.
Not Bud Lights.
What's that?
Now they're gonna have lead shots and water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that becomes the next step. Is that now I have these empty kegs and we have to fill it. Where filling it with sand will not be enough, so we need to get.
Really?
It's not enough. Yeah, you can't get heavy enough.
We'll need some.
A keg full of sand isn't heavy enough.
Nope.
Not for the heavy. So I
gracious.
talked to my buddy's the VP there at Gauthier Dodge.
Yeah.
So I call him, what do you use your tire with? Because some tire shops won't give them to you anymore. I don't know what they're doing with them. And he's like, we just put them in a massive barrel. And I'm like, can I just come snag a couple 100 pounds? He's like, come take whatever you want. They're all yours.
Yeah.
So that's how I made those duck walks for Brent.
Okay.
Was melting tire weights for 12 hours. Open lead with a torch.
Luckily, we won't have to melt them, which is nice.
That's nice because that was a lot of
We
work.
just got to pour them into the thing.
Yeah.
So that'll be pleasant. But yeah, like the Molson and Hooters sponsors have come through in a huge way on that one, and SBD, not to mention our presenting sponsors. Yeah. SBD and Inner Strength. SBD is one of my sponsors for Strongman, and when I mentioned this to them, they were thrilled at the opportunity to help out and be involved as they are with everything.
And they stepped up months ago and sent the money. They
were very on the ball with it, and they're awesome. They're like, whenever you go to a powerlifting meet or of any federation or any of the shit, like SBD is always there, and they always got a big thing, and they're always very involved. So shout out to SBD and Inner Strength, who are run by the same two people. Which
are they putting a booth up?
SBD Canada and Inner Strength are run by the same.
Are they doing a booth at Nationals?
I hope they do.
They have options,
Yeah, they're more than welcome to. And
we had another company step up at the booth. Wild, man, it's Caroline.
Caroline is from Misfit, is the one who's running that one. Yeah. I'm actually not embarrassed to say this because I know it's such a new thing. But like, do you know what it is? What is Wild?
Yeah, I didn't know either.
It's
I just straight out asked. No, it's a gym out in BC that focuses a lot on. They do a lot of breath work, meditation. More, I think that type of inner healing type stuff as well as a gym.
So like and a holistic approach.
More holistic approach, which she's big into. Yeah. And she's done the weigh-ins for nationals for the last 5 or 6 years, even through CASA.
Yeah.
So she contacted me, hey, I'd like to sponsor, but I just opened. I'm not a big business. She's like, but I've taken care of the weigh-ins for the last 6 years. I will fly in early, do all your weigh-ins for you guys, take it off, and give you X amount if you give me a booth. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's like,
hold on there, lady.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll help set up, and I'll help during the whole weekend, like on top of her booth. I'm like, yep, hell yeah.
And we've had just speaking of things like that, we've had a huge influx of people.
She has apparel too, though. There is apparel.
There's apparel. I've seen that. Yeah. And so, just speaking of that, like we've had a huge influx. I put a thing out yesterday of like, hey, like if anybody wants to volunteer for nationals, we can always use more hands, that's definitely the God's honest truth. I've had people reach out to me who are like, first of all, we've had a great. I'm really happy with the response from the strongman community, from people who aren't competing at this show or the weekend and are just like, hey, I want to come down and help out in whatever capacity I can, which we appreciate to no end, because it's
most Manitoba athletes who didn't make nationals are volunteering.
Yeah, we're very happy with that. And oddly enough, like people that I've never met in person have messaged me and be like, hey, I want to come down and lend a hand if I can and whatever and stuff. So it's just like it means a lot to us. I don't mean to make it weird or sentimental or whatever, but it really does mean a lot to us to have people that see this thing and be like, I would like to help out if I can in some way, because they recognize that it's a big endeavor that we've taken on, I think, and it's too much for me and Devin, that's for sure. We have the help of both of our partners and all the people in our gyms and stuff, like Janae and Brian, and I don't want to sit here and list every person, because that is
we'd miss him, and
we'd miss somebody, but those are people that are really, really crucial to this whole thing operating. And Thrones is going to run the stream, which he did
great job on.
Set up a fantastic one for Manitoba Strongest Man. So
Danielle's running the scorekeeping again. We'll have to get a couple more, because we're running 4 lanes. So the way I'm breaking it down is we have 4 35-man comps to run. We're doing 4 lanes. So I've been going through all the math and trying to figure out which lanes going with, like which people are going with which, and implements. And I'm literally breaking it down to every plate loaded. So I have a keep notes going with Tyler, and the guys that every loader gets a sheet on their phone, and it tells you exactly what plate you got to put on for which person. So just trying to make it, because when I say we want to run this, we want to run this thing in 6 hours is the goal, which would be phenomenal to run, because we have 143 athletes.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane.
That's aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a very insane day.
We have the right team for it.
And that's the thing, we're going to rely very heavily on our team.
Yeah.
On the people that we have and the people that are we're still looking for maybe 5 more people, I think. And I'll get that today when I go to my gym. I'll ask 5 people and they'll all say yes. So
next we got people selling tickets to the door. We're running a canteen to make some extra money. So we're still, there's no doubt about it, we're short on our budget for national still. Sponsorship we got great sponsors.
Bells of Steel, shout out Bells of Steel.
Yeah, Bells of Steel stepped up big with the weights here. And I own some Bells of Steel equipment in my gym, and after what they did, I'll definitely be buying more. That's for sure.
Anybody who wants to support someone who's supporting strength sports in Canada should definitely consider Bells of Steel.
Yeah, they stepped up huge there. So getting our plates to them for nationals, and they gave us a nice discount to help us get going. We're just waiting for the mats left. I'm dealing with fitness experience for that.
Mats are fucking expensive, dude. They are insane. Like those stall mats, they're fucking nuts.
It's $8,000 for what we need for nationals.
Yeah.
Did you in any of your gyms? Did you just go with like horse stall mats for the floor? Or did you always have like the rollout?
We always got the rollout.
That's even more money.
That's even more expensive, I think.
It's so expensive.
It's
but like even the back room at Midtown, we had to get the mats for.
Right.
And you're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
This costs how much?
Yeah.
So pre-COVID, I had wholesale accounts. Pre-COVID, I was paying in the 30s for my mats, and now they're like upwards of $60 for a mat.
Yeah.
And I had a direct line to Reliable Tire through the owner's nephew or something like that. So I got direct from there. Well, now Fitness Experience put a monopoly on. They only sell through Fitness Experience now. So my direct wholesale account was gone. Now I have to go to Fitness Experience. He's been good. He gives me good pricing, and we're working on something for nationals. It's not through the works yet, but
it's just one of those things. It's such a boring thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like you expect to spend a lot of money on the weights.
Yeah.
You expect to spend money on the equipment and on the food and on shit like that, and it's just like the mats.
Our biggest expense is mats.
The biggest expense is the mats.
The plates and the shirts equal the same price as the mats. I'm like,
it's such a boring thing, but it's so crucial. And even when we opened Iron Age, it was like, wow, we did not account for how much these mats were going to fucking set us back, because we just didn't realize until you're in the market for them just how insanely expensive they are.
And luckily, the same thing. I got your mats
through
my wholesale account, which
otherwise
saves a
it would have
bunch.
been even worse. So
So and building equipment, we still have to build. I'm building 4 sandbag throwing apparatuses right now, all matching. So anybody listening, we're going to post we will be selling those at the venue, all 4 of them, unless you're keeping one. But we are selling for sure 2 of them. I got to build
which one?
The sandbag throwing.
Oh yeah,
We'll probably sell for sure 2 of them.
Yeah, I
might keep one. You might keep one.
Yeah, for sure 2.
Yeah, but 2 of them are going to get sold, right? And they'll all be matching. They'll be adjustable in height from 12 feet up. I'll probably go all the way to 18 feet on those. We don't need 18 feet to comp, but I might as well make them that they're actually sellable.
In case I use it.
Yeah, in case you use it.
In case you want to get into throwing.
Yeah. Because you're good at the sandbag toss game. So
I was just trying to see. We don't have the list of women for SWIC yet, eh?
No, because the last qualifier was just this weekend, right?
Oh, it hasn't even happened. No, it hasn't even happened yet.
So it's this coming weekend.
Okay, so that explains it then.
Yeah.
Because I do want to put that over a little bit too. Is that Strongest Woman in Canada is the Friday of that weekend, which is like the women's show, and I mean it's literally
that's the biggest women's show in Canada.
They didn't call it Canada's Strongest Woman, but it is the equivalent of Canada's Strongest Man, being held right here in Winnipeg, with Sam Beliveau competing. We know that much at least, and she's
just got second at the Shaw.
Yeah, she would be in the conversation for the world's strongest woman for sure. Yeah. So just to have an opportunity to see these women compete is like, you know, we that's enough, Gian.
She's sending you nudes too?
Yeah. It's easy to kind of like let
check
these.
Your phone.
It's easy to kind of let somebody just kind of pass you by a little bit because it's just like it's part of a big weekend, whatever. But to have an opportunity to see like especially if you're a person who's involved in strength sports, especially if you're a woman who's involved in strength sports, to see someone like Sam Beliveau compete is going to be like seeing like you saw fucking Big Z compete in his prime, because she's literally one of the best. Like she's still.
Well, let's face it, the top woman at that show could probably podium, if not win, the lower weight categories of the men.
It's the same thing with CSM.
Yeah.
Right. Or sorry, you're saying crossing over, but I'm saying on like a world level, like the person who wins strongest woman in Canada is for sure one of the strongest women in the world.
Yeah.
In the same way that the person who wins Canada's strongest man is for sure one of the strongest people in the world, because it's just fucking. Well,
did you guys see that?
The quality of competitors.
Did you see the deadlift record that just got set last week for the woman? 710-pound deadlift.
I think it was 702. I think was the number. Yeah, 701 or 702.
Raw?
Yeah, no suit.
Not that.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
strongman raw, right? Strongman raw. She had the straps on and stuff, but she smoked it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was. There was some left there.
Yeah, she hit. She broke the world record, and it was like so easy that it was like you couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then she broke her own record again, and it was still not that hard. And she said that she wants to hit, by this time next year, she wants to hit 770. And I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch this lift, you'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that seems perfectly
She'll
reasonable.
be the first one to break 800.
And she's drug free apparently too.
Huh?
You know, yeah. Drug free. Is this a bit that I'm not getting, or what?
Yeah. No, I've done a lot of drugs and I haven't pulled over 700.
She's apparently that's the big thing about her, is that she's drug free, which is like, I mean, who ultimately, who gives a fuck? But it's still something. You know,
I really don't give a shit about drugs. I just want to see the best woman and the best man move the most amount of weight. I don't care what they do to their bodies.
So the fact that she
I
did
just
that,
want to see the weight moved.
Yeah. And they had at the same time, they had the men trying to break the. Who do you say has the world record for deadlift right now? Thor or Eddie?
Well, whatever. I think.
Do you know the context?
So Eddie did it in a competition.
Yeah.
And Thor did it in his gym during COVID when everyone's doing competitions in their gym. So no one believes Thor, but from the stuff I've heard,
he did it like he weighed the things, and he had like Magnus reffing it, and he had all like the
and everyone's
as
like,
official as you can get.
And everyone's like, oh, Eddie's was done in comp, and if it's not in comp, it's not a record. And I get there's that thought process behind that, because a gym lift is always a gym lift. But that whole comp, from talking to guys who were there at the show that Eddie pulled that in, that whole show was tailored to Eddie. His rest periods were exactly what he wanted. It was Pritchett from the States was there. Yeah. They screwed up his rest. We ended up missing his lift. Right? He got cold in between because they needed to time it right for Eddie to do his attempt to make sure. It was all tailored for Eddie to hit that lift that day.
Right.
So you can tell me, it wasn't done. It was done at comp, not a gym, but it was all tailored for you anyway. So what's the difference? And you get the adrenaline of the crowd, where Thor had to do it in front of his buddies.
Yeah. Although those guys are fucking. If you watch those Icelandic guys, like it sounds like they're in like a fucking like in a war.
Yeah.
Like they're just screaming and losing their minds. Like there's something about like the Icelandic language that doesn't like the English language doesn't try.
Has anybody pulled more than Thor in a gym setting and seen a video of it?
No, not.
So then it's the biggest deadlift pull.
Yeah.
Whether you want to call it the record or not, it's still the biggest deadlift pull.
So I was
just gonna say that.
Yeah. Sure, his might be a record, Eddie's, but the biggest deadlift pull is Thor.
Makarov pulled 1,000 pounds faster than I've ever seen anyone pull it before.
Yeah.
Like it looked like it was just like nothing. Graham Hicks also pulled 1,000 pounds really easily, and then
Jamal Browner went in there and
Jamal Browner missed 1,000. The powerlifter they always bring over like a special guest lifter. Like it was Andy Bolton at the Eddie one, and this one it was Jamal Browner, who's this like light guy who just does these incredible numbers, and
he's pulled 500 kilo sumo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rano Heinle.
You've seen that probably. I don't know. You gonna be okay here?
You guys are boring me.
Rano Heinle.
Last time we talked about fucking powerlifting.
Yeah. Rano Heinle smoked 1,000 pounds too, and then none of them got close with the 11.
No.
Like with the 502 or 505, none of them got even. Like it just wasn't there for any of them. And I was like,
it just shows the gap.
I thought like if you would have watched Makarov hit 1,000 pounds, you'd be like, he could hit fucking 2,000 pounds if he wanted to. Like, it was so easy. But it wasn't there, and it was unfortunate because we're sitting there in the gym watching it. We're like, holy fuck, this is gonna be the day with a big fucking and then no more disputed records, no more like who's got it, whatever. It's gonna be this fucking person, and then just couldn't pull it off. But Lucy Underwood, I think is her name. Lucy smashed it on the women's side, and that was pretty cool to see. 701 or 702, which is like. Boy, oh boy, she's creeping up on those. Like that was like.
I'm gonna look up the exact number.
We looked at me and Thrones looked up some of the numbers, and like, you know, in like I can't remember what it was. Like she would have held the men's record until like the early 90s.
Yeah. With
that kind of pull, like it's fucking bonkers.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
701
there's
pounds.
A recent bench press record too.
Raw or shirt?
Shirt 13.
That's
13 and change.
Disgusting.
Some of those shirts they have now are fucking crazy. Like.
Have you ever done a shirt bench?
I've never have it, but I would.
Do you
like
have
to,
a shirt?
Actually.
Somewhere.
I would like to try it.
Yeah.
You would probably fit his shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
I was competing at 220 when I wore the shirt.
And what's your best in shirt?
532.
Oh man, I just want to feel 500 in the hands. I've
I
done it on the 2 boards, but I've never.
Yeah.
Or a 3 board, but I never went for.
Yeah.
Thrones bought a shirt from a woman who wore it when she was pregnant, so I think he thinks it'll fit him, but yeah, it might fit him. Or I might try that one. I would like to try one. I don't think that I would be particularly good at it, especially because I'm not practiced with it.
It takes training just to use the shirt.
Yeah.
So
Like completely different
I don't know much about shirts, but how much it gives you obviously at the bottom? Does it give you through the full range, or do you still?
Once you're like half-ish, it's all triceps.
So the guy's still locked out. He did a 1,300 pound pin press,
Yeah.
really.
He said, I think he's like his 2-year goal is 1,500.
That's disgusting.
Like,
so he could hit half
More than most people's totals.
Right. He could hit half of a 3,000 pound total with just his bench.
just his bench.
And then won't total 3,000.
And then won't total 3,000.
yeah.
That's crazy. Oh man, that's disgusting.
I would be up for that if you want to come down one day to my gym and
Oh, of course. Yeah.
teach me
Just
some
got to
shirt.
find it.
That'd be fun.
We're still supposed to have the Whiskey Tango boys over there for some lifting, but
Oh yeah,
Denzel's
they never
a
end up happening
bitch.
or what?
Denzel.
Yeah.
What happened?
Denzel's a bitch. He was on a holidays for the week, so he couldn't come because menstruating and then not lifting for a week. Swollen labia.
What? I don't understand what.
know. Yeah.
He didn't train hard enough for a training session.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I could taste the estrogen through the phone when he was texting me.
Once Deadlifts for Dreams and Nationals is done,
Then we'll do it.
like your schedule will open up and
Yeah.
Oh. Oh shit! Never mind. Sorry, I lost your thought. Yeah. So Deadlift for Dreams is. I was gonna say it's this weekend, but it's not. It's next week. We'll
when this comes out, it'll be this
it'll
weekend.
be the coming weekend, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's like I said at the beginning of the thing, like the things that have just crept up on you.
It,
That must have seemed like it was ages away until it was all of a sudden next week.
yeah, you're like, okay, 3 months, and you're looking at organizing stuff and money and then you blink and you're like, oh, we have 2 weeks.
That's yeah.
And you called me and you said this weekend, and I panicked because I never know the date.
I know, yeah.
And I know, like, I couldn't even tell you what the day is, but oh man, did I panic? And you ask some good questions, and it's just like stuff that I hadn't even thought about. And
Well, that's why we have the team we do, right?
That's and I'm more on the organizational side now.
Yeah.
So having like you to think of that, I was just like, oh yeah. Like, I guess we got to put that. Just moving the pin on the truck deadlift and making sure we test it before the day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
we don't want to put on a show and have a bunch of people zero.
Well, I'm like, are we doing a car or a truck? 'Cause I have cars pre-weighed on the deadlift in my phone, so when we roll into comp cell, they're just set.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we're doing a truck and it's being sponsored. I'm like, trucks are heavy.
Trucks are heavy.
And I'm like, okay, we need it out early so I can test it, and I need to know where I need to move these pins. He's like, holy shit, we never thought of it. We were gonna roll in at like 9 o'clock with the truck and start lifting. I'm like, everyone with zero.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm getting the truck the night before and driving it out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Who's our sponsor for that? Can you say?
Wilfs.
Wilfs. Oh yeah, Wilfs Eli.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Sorry, you said that.
Yeah.
And that's I bought trailers from them.
Yeah, and actually really cool of them. I was like, wrap the truck, make sure that you guys get it. And he's like, we don't want it. They're like, we just want to like let you use the truck.
Oh, cool.
Like
Nice.
they didn't want anything in return.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just very, very cool of them.
That's nice of them.
Yeah.
And they sponsor a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Wilfs Eli, I've seen their stuff around at different events. They're one of those. Lots of dealerships will sponsor big name things that it's all about the public eye.
Yeah.
They seem to sponsor a lot of smaller stuff that's more sentimental. Maybe that's the owner. That's this type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I've seen from them.
Well, they were talking about sponsoring your micro penis.
So I've got a good story for that. You guys,
The smallest.
read the
event
shirt,
of all.
guys. Read the shirt.
That's how you know that Devin actually has a big penis. Is that he bought a shirt to say he has a big penis.
Yeah.
That has to
that's-
use both
that's-
hands.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you know he actually
So
has a big penis.
I'm going to bring up Mike. Pastor Mike.
One to pull the hair
Yeah.
back, the other to find it.
Well, let's see. Every 30 pounds is an inch. And I'm halfway there, and I'm still not seeing half an inch. So Mike's down there in Florida.
Yeah.
And he's at the gym. He trains with this doctor. I'm sure he's going to give a shit to say this, and he texts me one day. He's like, Devin, this doctor just like whips out his dick in the change room in front of Mike. And Mike's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
YMCA style.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, well, I do like penis enlargement surgeries and like fillers and all these. Mike's giving me a list of things. He's like, this guy's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. He just whips his out in front of me. I'm like trying to look. Mike's just.
So wait, he's got a huge hog or a small hog?
The doctor had a huge hog because he did a bunch of. I don't know if he did surgeries to it, but it's
Performing surgery.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Full
but-
Yeti.
Yeah, Mike's like, this is his business. He does all these surgeries and he can add girth and add length. And it's like supposedly lasts, like it stays. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I've read a lot of shit in those magazines that I didn't believe.
Wow. Well, I mean, if he's
I am
not-
going to
if-
Florida in November, so you will know.
The thing is that if he had a small dick, you'd be like, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But if the proof's in the pudding, then
The proof was in the pudding.
Yeah, there you go.
Surgery and messing around in that area, I don't like.
I don't know
Yeah,
about that either. Yeah.
no, I don't. I can't risk losing what I got. If he screws up, where do we go?
You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
I don't even have chubby enough fingers to replace this thing.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that would be a
But
risky,
it's just
risky endeavor.
Because Pastor Mike's he's so conservative. So when he texts this doctor, just whips this thing out in front of me. I can just tell the awkwardness in his text.
If I had a medical marvel attached to me, I'd probably whip it out too. If I was like, hey, check it out, I paid a lot of money for this thing. Like, like what do you?
If I come back after, I'm going to visit him for a couple weeks in November. If I come back after and just lay it on the table, I got surgery.
You'll stand and put your one foot up on the table and just be like, this is how we're doing the podcast now,
Do our
guys.
next show like this.
Yeah.
Or it'll be that color because it went wrong. Oh shit. Yeah,
Dolly's your
he
guy.
listens
He's
to our
scared.
episodes out there. He's trying to get us.
Does he?
Mike,
Oh, that's
he's
nice.
trying to get us fans out there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Shit.
Always being a weirdo.
She hunted and killed at least one spider during recording today. I'm about to post it to social media. So
Dolly did?
Nice.
did.
Oh,
Dolly's killing
tremendous. Oh,
spiders.
she's doing it. She's keeping her.
He's doing God's work. Well, I lost our train of thought there. We went from deadlift dreams to penis surgeries. But what are we doing here? Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, you're so heavy.
Beefcake.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think just the picture of Dolly last time because our views shot up last episode.
Dolly is definitely
the
the best
first
looking
day.
of the three of us. There's
Yeah.
no question about
It's weird how that works. All of a sudden, one episode starts really slow, like for views, and next one day you got 150 views. And it just makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, you put a cute dog on there.
Who would have thought cute bitches sells?
There you go. Now you know. It's not us, that's for sure.
It's not sex. It's just cute bitches.
I watched this movie the other day. Have either of you seen Whiplash? So like about a drummer.
No.
Okay, so
True story.
I don't know. It felt like it could be, but I don't know that it necessarily was. But it was a guy who goes to this like really prestigious music school, and he wants to play in like the highest band that they have there. He's like a jazz drummer, and the guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons. I'm trying to think what else he's been in. Like he's like a very. You know what I'm talking about, Bert?
Yeah.
Yeah. Search him up. Search J.K. Simmons.
I know J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
It's not what it sounded like you said the first time.
J. Jonah Jameson
I know
is
the
what he played in Spider-Man. That's
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's. Do you know
Sorry.
what I'm talking about? Do you know who that is? Search him up on your phone. You'll
You'll know
recognize
him
him
right
away.
away.
So he plays like the conductor of the band, and he's this like he's a perfectionist.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Do you actually recognize him?
Yeah, damn right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he plays like he's a conductor of the band who's like this insane perfectionist, and like he berates people and like physically abuses them and mentally abuses them, but all in the interest of like finding this perfect band, like finding
podcast.
finding the perfect person for his perfect band by this extreme weeding out.
Yeah.
And so somebody that I'm talking to somebody for like advice on lifting stuff, like the mental aspect of lifting, and he recommended that I watch that movie.
Okay.
And just to see like the connection, I guess, between
Yeah.
lifting and that. And there was one part in it where what I really kind of like identified with was he's sitting at his dinner table and he's talking about it's him and his family, including his older brothers or cousins or something. And the one guy's talking about how he's like, oh, they won his football game, whatever, his college football game, but he plays like D3. And then the other guy says something that's also like, I can't remember what it was, but it was something that was much more accessible and understandable to the family. And they're like, oh, that's so great, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, this guy is sitting there and he's playing drums at the highest level possible, like the best school in the place, and he's killing himself to do it, whatever. And no one gives a fuck, and nobody knows what it means to do what he's doing. And I was like, okay, I can understand why this movie was recommended to me as a lifting person, where it's like,
totally,
it's literally that meme where it's like nobody knows that I'm the strongest person in this. You know what I mean? Like with the guy standing in the corner.
Yeah.
And it was that, and I was just like, man, it was a real like.
That's how Dom felt at Bar I.
Yeah, literally that. Yeah, literally that. Where it's just like it's, but it was a good lesson, and like ultimately that doesn't fucking matter, right? Like it's you're doing whatever you do for yourself, or there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
But it kind of brought up the idea to me of like, that like because like the whole notion is like he's like all in, like he's 100% in, and then in a way that like it would make you question like, oh, I've never really been all in on what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Which is he rolls his car in a scene in the movie and then still makes it to his thing, whatever, like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a point in your life where you've been all in on
that? Was exactly what I was getting to with this. Is the notion that like, do you think that like, do either of you guys think that like sitting there and being honest with yourself, like, do you think that you were ever 100% in on football, lifting, your business, whatever it might be that you're doing like, as like a target in your life? In that point, were you 100% in on it to the point where you would?
I can say for a fact that in the moment I thought I was, and looking back, I see a lot more I could have done.
Right. That's that you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
With that, that's exactly how I find myself too.
Like when I was playing ball, I thought I was doing a lot, and looking back, probably 5 to 10 things I could have. I wasn't out working on my footwork before practice, and I could have been more involved in track, and my diet could have been more on point. And with powerlifting, there's a number of things, and even now, like with my writing, there's days that I should be writing, and I'm like, I just don't have it, and you have to have it, and you know what I mean. Or I'm golfing instead of writing, and.
Because I think there's a difference between like that idea where it's like a little better today than yesterday, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not all in though.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can improve yourself and do something where it's like, let's say you're going golfing. It's like, well, you're physically active. You're getting out. You're doing something that makes you happy. You're improving your mental state while you're doing it.
Yeah.
But does that mean that you're all in?
Yeah.
And the answer is no for most things. Unless you're trying to be a golfer, right? But like that's the only thing.
I mean,
right?
I would take golf money, but I don't see that on the horizon.
Because the answer for me is no. And the same thing where I was like. When I was wrestling, like I picked a job where I was very flexible with it, and then eventually I tried to make it so that I was only making money from wrestling. Like that was like, or the vast majority of it was coming from wrestling.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like going all in or whatever, but I was still going out and partying, and I was still like showing up to events sometimes like hungover and stuff, because that was like, oh, you got to be a wrestler, you got to be out partying with the boys and stuff, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where I tricked myself into thinking that was more important than being a good wrestler, was like being one of the boys.
Yeah.
And same with weightlifting too, where it's like I've probably right now in terms of like training and strongman, I'm like the most all in I've ever been, but I'm not in a position in my life where I could actually be all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then that would mean sacrificing like everything else, and that's just
you're not willing to lose everything you built outside of the gym,
right?
To be all in.
Well, I can't like to be all in. I would be like, well, I'm going to fire all my clients and make the gym just my place where I go to do my shit, and that's just not realistic, right? And that's not,
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie where the guy dumps his girlfriend and tells her it's because I'm going to be great and you're not going to help me do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be focused on this and you're going to grow to resent me.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing where I've always gotten lucky, is that I've always had very supportive partners, especially with Jan right now.
Yeah.
But I've always gotten lucky in that sense where I've never had like, have you guys ever had that where you felt like you had somebody who kind of held you back rather than helped you in terms of like your, you don't say names or anything, but like
I've had people or friends, people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like
out of jealousy?
What about like romantic partners, like significant others?
Yeah.
Well, you would. Well, what?
Yeah.
14 years old, I had this chick, man.
Have you ever? Yeah. Have any of your partners, Devin? Have they ever fucked with you?
I've been with Danielle since I was 18. I think.
And then Danielle's the definition of somebody who's
she has
monstrously supportive and only supportive. I would.
She has hung on for the ride.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys. I can say I've never been all in. I put a lot of effort in a lot of things, but my mind is so sporadic. I'm a quarter in on 30 different tasks. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's like for now, right? We got the Nationals going. I went and bought a company last week on Friday. Me and my partner closed a company, which I'm trying to deal with, and I already have 4 companies. And I'm just that way. Like I have so many goals, but yet I've never been committed to any of them at 100%.
Right.
Which bothers me.
Right.
But Danielle's always been. She's been all in with supporting me. She's never turned an idea down. Any business like this one I just bought. Yeah, no. If you think it's right, you do it. She's always picked up the slack. If I'm not home till late because I got shit to deal with, everything's taken care of. She's always been a supporting partner. And that is the only reason I have any success is because I was able. Most people don't have that.
Right.
Like if you've never, you're not married. I don't know what your partners have been like, but if you never had a partner that supported you 100%, that is literally willing to pick up the slack, and if you have a breakdown, they're there to make sure everything's okay. And if you've never had that, I've had that. That's what I have. So that's why I have any success is because I was able to perform at that level because everything in the back end's taken care of. Yeah. It's like the Strongman comp. I never give her any credit. I do it like I tell her, but I never give her enough credit because none of us have to worry about the whole back end of the comp.
Right.
The scorekeeping, anything else, it's taken care of, and I don't even think about the whole comp because I know she's got it.
Yeah.
Which is very rare to have.
Yeah.
That you can just walk away from a whole section of something and not worry about because you know it's taken care of.
Yeah.
And that's how my whole back end of my life is I take care of the money and she takes care of everything else so that I can keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's.
Have you always been pretty good with that, or have you had
supporting partners?
horror stories with that?
Not a horror stories, but there have been moments with different people where they try to pull you in a different direction, even if they're not nagging. They still try to pull you in a different direction, and on days that you don't feel like training or working or whatever, like the idea is nice, but you're like, that's not the direction I'm trying to go in. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say any horror stories, but you kind of nip it in the butt real quick, and you set the tone where you're like, this doesn't fly, or you leave.
When the honeymoon phase is over, and then you see those things.
Yeah.
Well, because it's
kind of like, okay, this isn't going to work, right?
It's fun to hang out with somebody who's doing this shit that's different. Like, wow, you go to the gym and you train so hard and stuff. That's so cool, and you put on these competitions. That's so great.
Yeah.
And then 6 months goes by, and it's like, oh, you're still doing this stuff, hey? Like, it doesn't. Yeah. It wasn't just a summertime thing or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're still doing this. Like it's like yeah, this isn't going to go away.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
This is you're this busy.
Right.
365 days a year. Right. Yeah, that's life.
I'm always weary, and even when things are good, it's always in the back of my mind that I fear all my best and most attractive qualities are going to become a hindrance to you.
Right.
You're so driven turns into you're always busy.
You're focused you're focused on other things.
Yeah, you're never present. Like you're so focused on your goals turns into you're never present. And there's probably like a gray area of like they aren't wrong, but I'm also not willing to sacrifice that.
And we've had those conversations with you. There has been where I've had to take a step back because I wasn't present and I wasn't doing the things, and I needed to find a balance. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to keep doing that because this would be gone.
Yeah. Can I just get you for an hour, please? And
Yeah. My kids are doing that. Yeah. My kids do that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the kids you got to get rid of, man.
Yeah. That's
they could grow up a little faster.
I can't remember who it was, but there was an old one of the old wrestlers that I was traveling with was like, I don't know if he made it up or whatever, but he said that like the family, a house, a real job. He said a wife, kids, a real job, and a house are all like nails in the coffin for wrestling.
Yeah,
because those are all things that you can't just walk away from, and you can't, I guess you can walk away from your wife, but these are all things that are going to affect you if you whatever.
Totally.
And I agree with all those things except for the wife part, or the significant other part, whatever. Yeah. Because if you have somebody who helps you, and somebody who's on your team and they want to see you do this thing, like nothing could be easier.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like if you have someone who's like I'm like this is something that Jan does all the time, where I'm like, fuck, I have to go to like tomorrow I'm going to Brandon to wrestle. Yeah, that's what's
skipping
happening.
my party.
I know. I'm very upset. It never fucking fails.
But Jan messages me probably. If Tyler's not coming, am I still invited? I'm like, yeah, you're still invited. Okay, because I'm coming without him.
Yeah, because it never fails. I want to go to those things, but it's always something. So I'm wrestling tomorrow, and I'll get my shit ready tonight. But if I was like, fuck, I have nothing ready, then I know that she's gonna be like, just tell me what to do, and I'll help you out, and I'll go do it. Yeah, and that's something like. That's a rare thing that I'm very lucky to have, whatever. But it's enough evidence to me that if you have the right person, they're not a nail in the coffin.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah. At
the competition, and some of the guys at gym crack jokes about it.
Yeah.
But Tyler couldn't do this without Jan at the comp. Like you hurt your foot there, and Jan's there making sure his foot's like, and I can tell by the way she does things. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing now if you didn't have that. And you're not married, but if you didn't have her even as a spouse or whatever, a partner, you wouldn't be able to perform to the level you're performing right now with business, training, anything.
Competing, especially too. Like she when say we're at Westerns, like she's there making sure that I eat, making sure that I drink, because you're just like you're frazzled, and we've all been in competitions before, especially when you go into one that's kind of like that next level where you're just like, I don't want to think about anything besides the next event. And like she'll tell me to do something, I'm like, no, I'm good. And she'll be like, just take a fucking second and eat this candy or have some fucking bread or whatever the fuck it might be.
Because if you cramp up 2 events in, you're not recovering.
I'm toast, exactly. So those kind of things, it goes a long way. Like one time I did have a partner who was, she just didn't get it. Like this is when I was wrestling and not doing strongman. She just didn't get it. She's like, what? Like, what do you want out of this? Like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
And she almost kind of talked me out of it, where she was like, I can get you like a good job. And again, like you help with nails in the coffin, right? So she was like, I can get you a job with like, it was with a scaffolding company, like just working in the yard, just like doing whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, she was very hot. So she kind of convinced me to do things that I otherwise wouldn't have wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, sure. Why don't we try that and see and whatever. And then, so I started it, and it was working in a fucking scaffolding yard in the dead of winter. So it wasn't very fun, whatever. And you show up there and it's dark for the first 3 hours that you're working and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I got there, and it was like I had an offer for a wrestling show that weekend, but I would have had to leave Friday to go do it. And so I'd worked like 3 or 4 days at the scaffolding place. And I was like, I went to the guy and I was like, is there any way, like, I know this is kind of like a weird request. And he was just like, what are you fucking, like, are you serious? Like, you're asking for time off? You just started?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of thought like Megan might have explained to you the deal here. Like, because it was like her friend's dad or whatever. And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So then the next day I was sitting there, and it's like you're in like the doghouse, whatever, where it's all just like the guys congregate beforehand, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking cold, and it was so dark. And I was like, I really want to go wrestle tomorrow. And I was just like sitting in the chair, and I was like, fuck this. And I just went and like wrote like, sorry, I quit. And was like, I put it on like the note on the guy's desk before he got there, and I just fucking bounced.
Good for you.
And I was gone.
Just step up from the text message.
Yeah. And so I went to so I texted her, and I was like, hey, you're gonna be really pissed here, but I quit, and I left a note, and that was it.
Yeah.
And she was just like, what the fuck? So she was pissed.
Yeah.
And then so she messaged the guy, and he was like, I didn't expect him to last much longer than 3 or 4 days anyway. Yeah. So it's all good. But it was just an example of like, and then we broke up like days later, because I was like, this is just, we're not on the same page about this thing. And then and it wasn't going to work if she couldn't wrap her head around what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't have to really get it, but you have to accept it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
I think part of chasing dreams, regardless of what your dream is facing like financial hardship,
right?
Because you're not at the point where it financially supports you,
right? And
there's people around you, like you're talking about, that don't get your dream,
right?
And I mean, my folks, they always threw out ideas, and there'd be clients that would try to pull me in different directions, and that promise of a steady paycheck when you're really struggling is very, very tempting. But you're trading your potential happiness for comfort.
Well, that's
the beginning of what kills you is comfort.
She talked me into the idea of working in a fucking scaffolding yard, because she's like, don't you want to like buy a house eventually and do all this shit? And I was like, yeah, I do want those things. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, but I don't want to do this for it. You know what I mean? Like it was like
exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather be happy or chase happiness.
But there's a reason we're in self-employed. We're doing these things. I mean, you're still self-employed.
Yeah.
It's because I find I'm not a very happy person, but I find some happiness in being uncomfortable. Comfort
drives me.
Yeah, like
comfort literally kills.
Yeah,
people.
Comfort doesn't. I don't live in and I became comfortable in life in certain things, complacency. But I need to be. It sounds bad, but I need to be stressed. If I sleep a whole week, I'm like I'm obviously not performing, and I'm obviously not chasing something. I'm not investing in something because I'm sleeping really well and I'm not overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Which I know is a curse, because Tyler teams up with my wife and gives me shit that I need to sometimes just pawn off some things. But I live in that. I take holidays. I come home early from holidays. Yeah. I enjoy working.
Yeah.
Some days I hate my job in a sense, but I love going to work. Yeah. I need work.
I get what you're saying about hate your job, because you absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But with that love, there are days that you're allowed to hate it.
Oh yeah. No, but it's the same. I like working. That's why I work so much.
Yeah.
I don't work physically anymore. I was like, I'm just an office guy. But I'll tell you what, that's a lot more tiring than the old physical job I did.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But no, that's why you excelled in sports. That's why you excelled where you are, because you strive in being in an uncomfortable environment. which is why people strive in athletics and stuff, is being in uncomfortable positions.
Like that's why you wear shirts like that.
Yeah. Wait till you see the one I got next week. I bought a couple of them.
Like I did a starving artist thing for a long time with wrestling for almost 10 years.
You have never starved.
I was a lot slimmer back then. But like where it was like I didn't have any money in my bank accounts, and realistically I could have made different choices where I could have, worked a part-time job during the week or whatever. But
went out with the boys. You could have penny pinched.
Right, but I wanted. In terms of like the actual job part, I was like, I don't want to give myself any kind of an out. Yeah. Like I want to either I make money off of this wrestling, or I don't make money off of it, and then I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? So it worked to a certain degree. Like that was when I started getting more opportunities. When I started going more places, I went to China and Germany and everywhere because you
went to the WWE camp.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't know you went to WWE camp.
No, I went. Sorry, I went to
I termed it wrong. But
I went to a Japanese and NWA, a different thing. But it was
NWA. That would be a big accomplishment for you.
The National Wrestling
They're
Alliance.
like, we're expanding.
But I got a lot of tryouts and a lot of opportunities and stuff, and I was in interviews with WWE. I didn't go anywhere with them.
Okay,
I was
NWA goes woke.
Yeah,
white dudes.
Straight out of St. Vital, crazy white boy named Tyler.
But I got things that I just don't believe I could have gotten if I hadn't been able to. Like the when I went to China, it was because I met a guy on a 30-day tour I was on.
Yeah.
Can't go on a 30-day tour if you're working a job anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just not something that you can do. You have to commit, be able to commit to those kind of things. So.
Well, bring it back to what I'm pursuing now with the acting and writing. I was on set as a background, and instantly my brain, and both you guys will get this, is like, okay, you're at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Like you're lower. You're lower than the crew.
Yeah, the janitor's got a one-up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that first 4 days where I was working on Nobody, I was like, how do I get in that chair?
Yeah.
And I called the casting director. There's only two in Manitoba, and I was like, hi, you don't know me. I've only been in one movie, but what's the next step do I take? And she's like, call this guy and get some coaching. Got some coaching with him, and I'm like, I need more. I found a coach in Toronto who used to work in LA,
right.
and with him, and then he was doing a workshop in Regina, and I dropped everything for a week to go do the workshop in Regina. Then when I'm with him, I take him out for dinner to get to know him better, and build that relationship. And you're like, 2 years later, I'm working on a $30 million movie.
Wow.
And it's taking those steps and missing out on other things,
right.
And my writing, I've missed. Or I don't even say missed. I've neglected maybe other opportunities.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I have to get this done.
Right.
Because this is what I said I'm going to do, and I have to do it.
Right.
And building relationships and having uncomfortable conversations and flying to San Francisco for a workshop on a chance that I meet someone. Mm-hmm. For that to. Same thing with you with the wrestling. You don't meet that guy if you're not on that 30-day tour.
Not to go interview someone, but did you find it hard at your age? Because you're not 25 years old anymore. And did you find it hard at your age? Because you've probably committed. I know you have with your different gyms. Did you look at it when you got into that? You're like, one more time, shit, I got to commit. You have to commit X amount of time again and neglect everybody again for this next
goal.
goal.
Dues paying thing.
Was it ever thought like, is it worth it this time?
Yeah.
Did that cross your mind?
Oh, for sure.
Because people listen to us. I had mentioned on one episode about business. Everyone wants to talk about business. I actually had some guys private message me. He's like, I would love to talk about business.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to talk about business, you can gladly private message me. I enjoy talking business stuff. But
yeah.
And guys listen to us for different aspects because we all own gyms at one point. I mean, you have a fitness business still. So some guys want to hear that aspect. So I want to know, because the guys are chasing their goals now. And once this ends, once the Strongman competing ends, and they now need to transform that competing side into a business, they're probably going to have to use they should use the context they made in the sport and build on it.
Yeah.
But so did you find that the process hard
there
to
were
do it one more time?
insecurities.
Okay. Yep.
There were insecurities. The process wasn't hard because I decided what I was going to do.
Okay.
And when I decide I'm going to do something, everything else becomes secondary.
Yep.
But there were certainly insecurities, and knowing like I'm not young getting into this.
Yeah.
And I'm at zero experience and zero knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you have a spouse right now, right?
Sorry?
You have a girlfriend now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like something she supports it, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
And
That's just my style of question.
you're like, a lot of stuff has to go on hold
Yeah.
while you're chasing this.
One more time, yeah.
And I mean, I'm lucky I've created like second and third streams of revenue, but it's just committing to that. And I was going somewhere before that curveball, but
leave it to me. Someone's to fight me out of this basement after this.
It's you just decide to do it, and then you do it, and but yeah, people are like, if you got a job at UPS, it could be a mindless job, and you have steady income, and you're like, but that's another commitment I'm throwing on my plate. I don't need another commitment.
Yeah.
I need to focus on this and just make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Were we out there for Bert or for time there, Bert?
10 minutes.
I'm sure we blew through this one. That's good.
Yeah. We didn't even get to the 2 videos.
Oh yeah, shoot.
I didn't get to watch both. I watched bits of both of them.
So
actually,
I did watch that one, so we can discuss that a little bit.
Shit, I didn't finish it.
I think we could dedicate next week's show to the one that you sent.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is why don't we encourage?
Because there's a lot of talking points in that video.
There is.
Yeah.
Why don't we encourage a little watch along here with the Strong and Petty listeners and viewers? So I sent these guys both a link. It's on YouTube. It's actually a Canadian broadcast of it, which makes it even more fun. Which is like, but it's like. So it's the first World's Strongest Man from 1977, and it's being aired in probably 98 on that recording. So it's like TSN, and it'll show like the hockey scores below and stuff. It's pretty.
There's a good CFL score. Toronto beat the hell out of Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fun ones to watch on there. I'll have to kind of try to look at.
I made it through the keg press, and that's as far as I got.
Yeah, I'll have to look through the teams that are on the ticker thing to see around what year it would be.
The keg press was my reference to you guys filling the kegs with lead pellets and water.
So it was actually called the World's Strongest Men back in 1977. Yeah. So go on YouTube, search World's Strongest Man 1977. There used to actually be a playlist on YouTube that was just all of them. I don't know if that still exists or not, but the video is still for sure on there. So watch that if you're so inclined. We'll discuss a little bit about it next time, because if you watch that, and if like I kind of have to remind myself that not everybody is like the geek about this shit that I am. Yeah. Where I really love the history of strength sports and strongman in particular. So for me, this stuff is pretty exciting. So if you're like a fan of sort of where the path that we took to get where we are right now, I think you'll watch this, and if you haven't seen it before, it'll probably blow your fucking mind. Like some of the events, some of the guys who were in it. I won't give away too much about it, but there's the list of guys are like. Not your typical strongman dudes. So
it was the hair and the Unabomber
Frank Colombo, Lou Ferrigno.
The sunglasses and the glasses in general are probably the best part. The hair is really great. Yeah. I think
all the chairs they sit on next to the event,
yeah,
like competitors,
John
directors'
Cole.
chairs. They're just like
John Cole has fucking great hair in it, and they all have those like. I really want a pair of those sunglasses where it's like the big, like the gold rim things, but they have like the gradient.
The flip downs?
No. But they have like a gradient where it's like it starts really brown and it gets like lighter as it goes down. You know what I mean? Like, I would fucking love if
we'll get some strong and petty ones.
Yeah, I would love if Strongman gave up the fucking pit vipers and started going for those ones instead. I can't stand those pit vipers.
I can't.
Burton, you gotta look those up.
But they if you want to find a good one of those, just search for the Four Horsemen, like Ric Flair and those guys. Used to always Arn Anderson. Wear those. And I think
Arn
those.
Anderson slept with his on.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen him without them on.
He has such a solid look because he's like not like Ric Flair. He's like balding and kind of like chubbier and stuff, but he just still has all that fucking swag. So but yeah. So if you're so inclined, watch those. And also we were going to discuss a little bit about this video that. Yeah, fuck yeah. Put that.
Oh, those somewhere. Yes.
Make sure we post that.
Yeah, we'll post that photo.
See if we can order a couple sets of those for next episode.
Yeah, and I think actually Kevin Cannon bought me a pair of those.
Did he?
Yeah, that I'm not sure where I put them with our Hooters Connect. But we had a video too. Sorry, I just asked you. What was the time again, Bert? We got
time.
We got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes.
So why don't we dive in a little bit into the video that you talked about? It was
Marshall. Sorry. Yeah, you go.
So Marshall Johnson, very very great powerlifter. He's performed in the animal cage at the Arnold, and
did he? I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. No, he's very well known. I woke up to a text from him one morning, and he's like, "Can you watch this and let me know your thoughts?" And with him, it could be anything. It could be something.
And he's a big supporter of our show too.
Big supporter of the show.
Yeah.
You know, the video could have been anything. He sent me. Who was the video that I sent you guys today? Busey.
Oh, Gary
yeah.
Busey.
Like today, the video he sent me was Gary Busey,
Right.
and he's like, "This is coming down your future, like with all those concussions." But there was a video of him talking and quite intimately and passionately about, you know, where he wants to go as a coach, and actually you bringing up the all-in thing.
Yeah.
You know, he feels like he's outgrown his job, and does he fully
His legitimate job.
his
not
legitimate
the
job?
coaching
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
And does he fully pursue coaching? And does he take that leap? And he has fears about it and insecurities about it. And very, very good video. He's always been very well spoken. For a guy nicknamed the Freak Show, who's covered in tattoos and for years lifted with like a neon mohawk and whatever size gauge his ears were. He's very, very intelligent and very well spoken. But you know, one of the things that really stuck with me was his struggles with trying to be the perfect coach and write the perfect program.
Right.
And I sent back, and the perfect program doesn't exist unless you're training a robot.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are so many factors. But when you get so emotionally attached to the program you wrote, 100 times out of 100 you'll be disappointed. What was my thought. And that was the main point that I sent to you guys, was to get your thoughts on that as far as program writing goes. Personally, I do what I know works, and I give my all. And I give that to you. What you do with it is up to you, but I can rest my head at night knowing that I did what you asked of me and what I felt was right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that when I watched that one, it might seem sort of strange, but I think it's helpful that I have like my history that I have of like over partying.
You're the guy that we don't want to coach.
Right, yeah, but like
You
back
know
in the
what I
day,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
back in the
Like,
day,
yeah, where I was the guy who made things challenging, where I would show up to the gym and I would be at the gym every day.
Yeah.
But God knows what I did the night before, and God knows what I was going to do the night afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think that perspective helps me a lot with it too.
Yeah.
Where when someone tells me that it's just like, yeah, you know, like I don't know what happened. Like I just went out last night and all of a sudden fucking 5 beer or 1 beer has turned into 6 and I, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that like, you know, somebody who's like a very like a lifter's lifter and who's like a real like by the books kind of coach, whatever, might have a little bit more of a problem with that, where it's like that's not acceptable.
You're not
Yeah.
committed. You're
Right.
Yeah.
Where I'm not thinking of any particular when I say that, but just people who might not understand that lifestyle as much as I do.
Yeah.
I get it, and I can be like, it's frustrating, and you got to fix that. But I'm not going to shit on you for it, because I can understand
Yeah.
that's and I think that perspective helps me a little bit, because I did like what Marshall was saying, where he's like, he said that when he's an athlete, he accepts all the responsibility for whether he does poorly or well in terms of like his relationship with his coach.
He never blamed his coach.
Right. And then now that he's a coach, he still takes all the responsibility and all the blame.
Yeah.
Even though he recognizes that it's not how it works.
Yeah.
But I think that it does help. And I've also had this with wrestling stuff too, where it's like I was very like I took like there's a lot of kind of like unwritten rules in wrestling, or used to be. I don't think there is anymore, but you take every fucking show that's offered to you. You never miss a date, no matter what. Like if you've committed to it. Like I've missed funerals, I've missed weddings, I've missed all kinds of stuff because I've committed to a shitty show in fucking Minot, North Dakota.
Thompson.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I've missed for reserve shows. I've missed weddings and stuff. You know what I mean? I've missed concerts that I wanted to go to. I've missed all kinds of stuff because and I have to kind of loosen up a little bit on my, because there's guys in my gym who are young wrestlers now, and they're like, yeah, you know, I was gonna do that show, but it's my buddy's wedding, and immediately
your blood
my
boils.
back gets up, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Did you say you missed a show for a goddamn wedding?
Yeah.
And I have to remember that not everybody is of that mentality, and maybe it's better that way. You know what I mean? And it's the idea, and that's kind of what Marshall's getting across too, is that you have to live in the real world with your clients too, and you can give them everything that they need, but it's on them to give it back to you. You know what I mean? Like to
I feel the same way. Because I had coaches, I get injured, I never blame them. It was because I knew I did something wrong.
Right.
Yeah. But then when I'm coaching people now, Manitoba is a prime example. I lost my marbles because I wasn't able to give everything I needed because I was putting on the show, and I felt like, they didn't do as well because it was my fault.
Right.
Like I'm just that way.
Oh, you said that on the show.
I did. Yeah.
You admitted
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's just the way it goes. Yep.
Yeah. But I just the owning both sides of it, you're not being fair to yourself, and you're kind of not being fair to your clients.
Right.
And over the years, particularly with my young football guys and parents who are so thankful and thanking me. And I always equated it to like, I'm a library, but the kids have to read the books and learn.
Right. Yeah.
So I provide them with the information, but thank your kids.
Yeah.
Because they did the work
Right.
to get where they are.
Right.
It's only a piece of paper. The same thing you've always told me. It's only a piece of paper I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't make you do the work.
No.
And the program that works for Tyler doesn't work for Devin, doesn't work for Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we're all training for the same thing, every body is so unique. His chasing that perfect program, there isn't one perfect program. There's a reason why there's 5-3-1 and linear periodization and the cube and small off and all that for powerlifting, because different things work for different people.
Yeah.
And I was actually flattered he sent it to me and valued my opinion of it. But watching it, I was like, you guys will probably.
I got through a bit of it. I'm going to watch after we leave.
It was a good watch. I
Sure you
enjoyed
will.
listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
What tag do I
encourage.
use?
I'd encourage anybody to look. Sorry, what is Marshall Johnson? Right?
Marshall Johnson.
Marshall Freak Show Johnson on YouTube. I enjoyed the watch too. It's about 8 minutes long, and I thought it
Literally
was.
still on my phone.
Nice.
Like I'm not lying when I say I'll finish it. Yeah.
It's about 8 minutes long. And I thought it was a good watch, and especially if you're a coach who's trying to get a little bit of insight into what somebody like. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. He's not like a celebrity coach. He's not an influencer. He's just a guy who's just doing this as a secondary source of income.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of coaches are in that same.
He's
position.
doing this out of passion.
Right.
Those influencers do it out of.
Right. I think a lot
They
of coaches
piss me off.
think
I
a lot
like
of-
guys like him that do it out of passion.
Yeah, people who would be listening to this, who might be coaching, are also doing it in that same sort of thing. So I think that his perspective is very valuable in that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another part as far as like leaving your job to pursue this.
Right.
My personal opinion was, if you already have that stream of income, work tirelessly on your passion and let your mindless job continue to keep you afloat until the scales tip.
Until they change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't leave a cash register to try to fill another.
Right.
Start filling both until one is so full that you can leave the other.
For sure.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. And as for your thing with the, like, as a coach, you can obviously I would like to think that my clients see me as more than just like an AI program that gives them a thing. Like I want to be there to help them and talk to them and stuff and give them advice and shit. And I saw a clip that was, but like you said, there's still a certain responsibility that they bear. And I can't remember who was that. Maybe it was who are those two brothers that are the really strong?
Michael Thrones.
Yeah, I think it was Michael Thrones who said, and this will sound like a real Michael Thrones.
He said,
quote.
"I don't know that word."
Yeah, this will be a very Thrones quote. But your training in your program is like, if you're going to church, like you're going to get a lot more out of it if you go into it with like an open mind and open heart and be like, I believe in what I'm going into here. You know what I mean? Where it's like if you go in there and be like, this is all bullshit or this isn't going to work, well, it's not going to work for you.
I guarantee you it's not going to work.
Yeah, so that was me paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines that I thought that was actually pretty profound.
Yeah.
So I guess we can pretty much leave it on.
Yeah, Deadlift for Dreams will be happening this weekend that the show comes out.
Yes.
So we will get a good recap on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Excited.
I know there's still fundraising is still open.
Yeah. Fundraising
Like
will
after
be
this episode
open.
airs, yeah.
Fundraising will be open until the end of the event.
Good.
Okay, great.
Just got a good 500 chunk yesterday.
Nice. Oh, tremendous.
Yeah, I think it went into the general bank, and I don't care where it goes as long as it goes into
Awesome.
But another $500 came in, and we're creeping up there.
Yeah.
And good last week push and some things on site like the dunk tank and whatnot. I'm on Energy 106 next week, Tuesday. The three of us are going to be on the CTV morning show on Thursday.
Right.
Yep.
I feel like Tyler has to tell me something after the show.
That's what I wanted to mention was that thing, because I forgot until yesterday, but we're still going to do it. So
It's still a go?
Yeah, 5 a.m. Let's do it, baby.
That's next
Yeah.
Thursday, right?
Actually, that'll be the morning that this comes out.
No, Thursday morning.
What's that?
This comes out Tuesday
This
morning.
on Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Yeah, sorry. So when Janaea posted at 5:30, and she somehow already listened to the whole episode. Put in
I don't
your
understand
calendars. CTV from 6:30 to 8:30.
Yep.
We're gonna be at Iron Age. with CTV, and their whole morning feature is on Deadlifts for Dreams, and we'll all have
Sneak a plug in for Strong and Petty.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
A
Everything.
shameless Strong and Petty
see if
plug
we
on
can get shirts
CTV.
made before.
Yeah.
Yo, I would get them made.
There you go.
Oh, Vistaprint will have it done in 3 days.
We should.
Yeah, only
And,
cost you an arm and a leg.
We're looking at nationals and strongest woman in Canada, nationals and record breakers. The weekend of October 20th. We have tickets now, so please feel free to message me, Devin, Strong Manitoba, Strong and Petty, Iron Age, Training Grounds, whatever you need to get these tickets into your hands. It's going to be a really, really big weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a good opportunity for everybody who's ever been on the peripherals, or everybody who's kind of wanted to check out a strongman show, or just even be like just kind of see the community.
Yeah.
To pop in and check it out.
And there'll be booths too. Selling stuff. There are booths for Evolution.
Oh, they said booze. I was like,
My drunk ass also
I thought we
heard
said
booze.
no to that.
I said boobs.
boobs too, yeah.
Boobs.
Yeah, both
Yep.
the Devins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These two fucking boobs right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that.
Well, one more plug. Supplement King. We will be doing a giveaway next week. I will have posted by then. They
Okay.
gave us a prize pack to give away. So we're going to do that. So when the episode airs, we will still be in the process of that giveaway. So make sure to share that post. Get those entries in for Supplement King giveaway.
Tremendous.
And, yep.
Okay, buy your tickets.
One more post.
Yeah. What? Bird, you got something you want to fucking say back there? Or? All right. Leave it at that. Thanks, guys. Buy your tickets for Nationals. Bye-bye. Thank you. Love you.